This is 6.4, homework number 2, or day 2. An artist receives 20% royalty on the retail price of his recordings. If he receives $36,000 in royalties, what is the dollar amount of the retail price of his recordings? This is to say that a royalty is something that it's money you make off of sales, okay? So you get a percentage if you're in the record business, or if you're, in movies even, you get a percentage back of whatever is sold. So what they're saying is he gets 20%, or she gets 20% back from all of his sales, all right, and it is his. So it's really saying $36,000 is 20% of what? Because you're trying to find the total price or the total amount of albums sold. I'm guessing it's albums or recordings, same thing. So what is the dollar amount of the retail price of his recordings? So $36,000 is actually equal to 20% of the total, okay? But if you write this out correctly, it would be 36,000 is 20% of what? So I have 36,000 over question mark equals 20% over 100. Again, if you don't set these up correctly, you're most likely going to get them wrong, or you're going to have to come back and redo them. So crisscross divide, you're going to end up with $180,000. So this artist sold $180,000 worth of recordings and made $36,000 off of the royalties. A club deposited $50,000 in a savings account at the beginning of the year. Interest will be paid at a rate of 3% at the end of the year. How much interest will the club receive for the year? Interest is something that you multiply your percentage by whatever you have in your bank account. So if it's 3% for every $1 that you keep in the bank for an entire year, they're going to give you 3 cents back. So if it's $10, it'll be 30 cents. If it's $100, it'll be $3. If it's $1,000, it'd be $30. If it's $10,000, so on and so forth. So if we look at this person makes 3% on interest. So what is 3% of $50,000? And they're asking, how much interest will the club receive in a year? So we're trying to find 3% of 50,000. So 3 times 50,000 divided by 100 is going to be $1,500. So if you have $50,000 in the bank and you're getting 3% interest every year, you'll make $1,500 every year off of just your interest. Not a bad deal. A company X has $128,000 in its savings account that pays 6% interest per year. How much interest will it earn at the end of the half year? Well, we know that we got to find 6% of $128,000, but it's only asking for a half year. So what I did here is I took 1/2 of 6% and I came out with 3%. Now, there's other ways of solving it. This is just the way that I solved it. But you could have also found what 6% is in a year and then divided it by 2 for the half year. What is 3% of 128,000? So I crisscross divided. I got 384,000 divided by 100. You come up with $3,840 per half year. Daryl and his 3 cousins are dining. I don't like how that works. Daryl and his 3 cousins are dining at a restaurant. Their bill is $60 worth of food plus an additional 15% of the total for service charge. How much does each person pay if they share the bill equally? Well, first you got to find out how much was spent on the bill. So we know that we're adding an additional 15% to our total. So you have to find 115% of 60. Again, if it's a tax or if it's a service charge, you have to take all of the cost, which is 60. You got to take all of your 60, which is 100%, and then add that additional 15%. So it's going to be 115%. So the question is, what is 115% of 60? Well, set it up. 115, it's a percentage over 100 equals something over 60. So 115 times 60 equals 6,900. We then divide that by 100 and we get $69 for the 4 people. Now, the question is, how much does each person pay? So you take 69, add our 2 zeros, and divide it by 4. It comes out to $17.25. Diana receives $25,000 in a bank at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year. She will receive 7% interest at the end of the year, but she'll have to pay a 16% tax on the interest received. How much interest will Diana earn after she pays the tax? Okay, this is multi-steps. All right, so we need to figure out what 7% of 25,000 is so that we can figure out how much she makes in interest. So we set it up, what is 7% of 25,000? We don't know what our is, so we have a question mark there. And then you have 7% of 25,000, so you end up with 1,750. Now, that's the amount of money you make before you get taxed on it, okay, or before you have a loss. So, what I did was instead of finding out how much the tax was and then subtracting it out, what I did was I took my percentage of my tax, which is 100 minus 16 is 84%. That's going to say that if she's losing 16%, she's keeping 84. So what is 84% of 1,750? Well, you do your is over your of equals percent over 100. You get 84 times 1750 times, and that comes out to 147,000. 147,000 divided by 100 is then going to be $1,470. So she gets to keep $1,470 of the interest. All right. Now, if there wasn't a tax on it, she would have kept $1,750. What percentage of Diane's investment is the interest after paying the tax? Okay. 1,470 is what percentage of 25,000? The reason I did this is this is the amount that she makes after she loses the tax money. Okay, so we do part over whole, or our is over our of, and you get percentage over 100. If you look back here, it says 1,470 is what percentage. So the what is actually on our percentage, which you guys don't see very often, of 2,000. Or 25,000. So, set it up, crisscross divide, you end up with 5.88%. So if you look at this, they originally were saying that you were earning 7% interest, but after you lose money on your taxes, it comes out to 5.88%. I think that's it. All right, guys, again, hope this helps. Remember, set everything up as is over of equals percent over 100, or set it up as part over part, or part over whole equals part over whole. Hope this helps. Have a good one. Bye.